Kostecka coming to you live on Zoom with JJ Surprise.
There we go. Here we are, kids. It's our special edition, special episode. You know, tonight, kids, you guys are going to get some incredible value because I'll tell you, in the 2.5 years I've been involved with Kangen Water, I don't think I've found anybody that I've gotten as much value from than this man right here, Mr. Gerald Kostecka. He's produced some of the most incredible stuff that's out there. And, you know, what we're doing today is we want to show you guys what this stuff is all about. There's some of this stuff that's going to be available for a longer term. There's other things that are going to be getting closed out. There's things that are for different niches within our marketplace, within what we're trying to do. And, you know, Gerry's got some of the best stuff out there, and I really love it. And I'm looking forward to hearing him talk about the things that he's doing and why he's doing it and that kind of stuff, because quite frankly, we are the Kong family and we're here to change the world. And we're doing it one glass of hydrogen-rich, oxygen-saturated, incredibly hydrating, 9.5 at a time, and one awesome show with people like Gerry, who has provided us with so many incredible tools that we can utilize. And I want people to understand something before we get going here. This stuff that Gerry produces, it's all approved by Enagic, but it's not paid for by Enagic. This is stuff that Gerry puts together with his own dollars. And, you know, and quite frankly, if we want this kind of stuff to be available for us to utilize, we need to look at it. We need to understand it. We need to share it. We need to buy it. And, you know, I'll tell you what, Gerry, my plans is that every single new person that I bring into this business, one thing they're going to get is they're going to get a copy of Ride the Wave. And, you know, they're going to get a copy of all these different things that you've put together, you know, the pet thing and the business thing and the sports and, you know, fitness thing. And you know, and so I'm even looking forward to hearing more about what other stuff you have, what's going to be available long-term, what's going to be on its way out the door. And, you know, just let you explain to everybody what's going on here and how they can benefit. And I'm sure that as you move along with talking about it, I'm sure I'll come up with some other questions that are gonna come to my brain cell. And so if anybody out there on the live side, if you guys have any questions about anything as we go, just ask your questions in the live feed, and I'll ask Gerry for you. And so, yeah, thanks again, Gerry, for coming in. You always add such great value. We love you so much. And so what's going on over at going6a.com right now that everybody needs to know about?
All righty, well, thanks, JJ. So basically, what I've got going on right now is the end of the summer is here, and basically, if you really kind of understand time frame when it comes to the way that the year works, you know that the end of summer is not a time for everybody to be like, oh, darn, you know, we're not going to be going to the beach as much, and we're not going to be going to the picnics as much. And no, you know what the end of summer actually should be kind of promoting for people is the final push for this year. The final push for 2019, because the end of summer happens with September. And as soon as September is over, we immediately go into October, November, December, final quarter of 2019. This is the time to prepare yourself for the final push. And what the final push is maximizing the last quarter of 2019 so that the entire year of 2019 ends up being your best ever, okay? So what I've done to try to help people maximize their marketing budgets and the available funds that they have for marketing is I'm running a sale. There's going to be an extra 20% off of all the items that are on the website. There are going to be a couple closeout items because things have changed. You got to remember, I've been here for 12 years, okay? The first materials that I ever created was the first edition of Ride the Wave, which is in its 6th edition now. And every time that I put out a new edition, I actually added content. So the original Ride the Wave book, I think, was 128 pages or something about that, and now the current one is like 254, 250 something. I know there's a lot. So it's been added to each time because as time progresses, new information arises, or new things that people need to know about end up they come up, and so it's a good thing to put them in there. Well, on the flip side of that, some things have also changed as far as production costs, import duties, things of that nature. So some of the things that I've offered in the past are no longer going to be available, and it's not because people don't like them, okay, or people aren't utilizing them. It's because it's becoming cost prohibitive. And what I mean by that is, a bottle like this, I love these. These have been so effective for so many people, but the reality is that because of the way that they had to be created to really, work correctly, it's a very expensive endeavor because these are wrapped. These aren't printed. This is wrapped where there's a outer cellophane that literally has to be heat gunned on these things individually by hand, okay? Well, production costs for these have now increased to the point where I'm not comfortable with what the final selling price is going to have to be. I think it's a great tool, but I think that the reality is if I had to charge somebody $25 for this, I would be doing them a disservice. I think there's a better way that you can spend the $25. I think these are effective, but I think there's a better way to do it. So these are going to be closed out. So literally there is one case of 50 of these left, and when those are gone, they're not going to be available anymore. And that's just the way that, unfortunately, it has to be. So
is that, Gerry, just real quick, is that going to be the same with the Conganizer one, the one that looks
those
like—
are already gone.
Those are already gone.
They're already gone.
So there you go, kids. That's all there is. There's 50 left. That's why you got to be happy that you're on here, because you can still get one of these things. Yep. They're sweet to have. I got mine right here. I got myself several of them, and I'm happy that I actually took advantage of the sale and got some. And so, yeah, thank you, Gerry, for letting us know.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to let you know, see, well, something like this, there's a couple different ways to use it. So a lot of people, when they first bought these, they bought them as a water bottle. And it is a functioning water bottle. Don't get me wrong. You take this off, fill it up with water, you can drink out of it, okay? But that's not what the intention was. The intention was to be a attention getter. Because when you walk into a gym or something, you're carrying this in your hand. When someone glances over, they recognize the appearance of this. And their mind says, is that a giant battery? That's what, and then they want to know why you're carrying around a giant battery. So this by itself can actually stimulate the conversation. That's what it was intended to do. Let me tell you something. There's a guy named Marty Wetzel. I don't know if Marty's out here in California, okay? Marty has had these since they first came out. On an almost daily basis, Marty's at the gym. He takes a picture of the bottle on a piece of gym equipment. And that is how he's showing he's at the gym for his workout. But instead of showing himself, he shows this. Why? Because this is more compelling to people. When they see the picture of it on his Facebook page, they're like, wait a second, Marty, why are you at the gym with a giant battery? And that's exactly what the intention was to do, is to get people to ask the question. Because one of the most difficult things in sales, if you're not a tried and true seller, if you're not obnoxious like us, that can walk up to anybody and strike up a conversation and say, hi, I didn't know you, but I'm going to talk to you anyway. If you're not like that, which, JJ, you and I both know, most people aren't. Most people are very afraid to just walk up to a random stranger and initiate a conversation. That's why what this was created to do was initiate the conversation for you. So that a person comes to you and starts asking you questions. A person starts asking you questions, it opens up the door for you to be able to tell them what it is that you do. It is the softest sell that there is because it's being initiated by the potential buyer. That's pretty soft, and that's why these have been so effective. That's why the 50 that are left, whoever lines up with them, man, they're going to score big time. They're going to score big time. Just like everybody, and just so you know, we produce thousands of these, thousands, and people love them. But again, when the economics of certain things become a hindrance. You have to make a decision. You have to say to yourself, do I continue with this and force people to spend what I would consider to be an exorbitant amount of money for a bottle, okay? And to me, and you know what? Maybe as far as some things in business are concerned, maybe I'm not as cutthroat and as I should be, because it's like I've tried to price everything out with all of my materials in such a way that I feel that it's affordable. Like if I was brand new and I was starting out, would I be able to afford these things at the prices that I'm offering them at? And when I look at them, I say, yes, I could. And that's something that's very important to me, and it's kind of funny because the way I even got started with the materials is kind of weird. If you read Ride the Wave, it easily explains how that happened. With the whole thing with me getting 50 phone calls a day, each and every day, and I was realizing that the majority of those phone calls were the same questions, just by different people. Which what that told me is when a person is brand new in this project, they will basically have a set of standardized questions. And it's not that the questions are standardized, it's just standard for a brand new person. What's ORP? What's pH? What's microcluster? Right? All these different things. And so that's why I wrote the book. It was like to answer those standardized questions. But the first magazine that I ever put together, it was the consumer guide to the water ionizer industry. And basically what that was put together for is I was putting together something that I was going to have a small run of magazines created. And when I say small, I was going to do like 500 copies. That was going to be for my team and my team only. I had no intention on sharing this with anybody else. I figured I'm putting the work in. I'm doing all this research. I'm doing these things because my people were coming to me saying, hey, look, what do I say about the mesh plates? What do I say about the this? What do I say about the that? And I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to create a document. Now, this is the other thing that I want to put out there that a lot of people may not understand why it is that I went to printed materials in this digital age. Well, the main reason that I decided to do printed is because of the digital age. Because the reality is, had this been 15 years ago and I just started, then I could have started putting out the digital stuff and just sent people emails with attachments. Why? Because people weren't getting 50 to 100 messages in their inbox every day, with 95% of them being junk that they're not going to look at anyway, okay? If you ask yourself this question, how many times has someone sent you an email with an attachment that because in the moment you were either too busy, too distracted, too whatever, okay, too uninterested, to open that email and open that attachment, and then that thing ended up getting buried and you never look at it? I know it happens to me, so if it happens to me, I can only assume it happens to other people as well. Well, if that's the case, then why would I want to try to send out information that I already know stands a very good chance of never even being viewed? So I wanted to stay away from that. Also, if you think about it, in our project, the only place that derogatory information about Enagic, our water, anything else, the only place it really exists is online. Why? Because our so-called competitors, the leeches, they won't spend the money. What do you think? They're going to take out an advertisement in the New York Times, a full-page advertisement to do? No, they're going to do something as cost-effective for themselves to try to increase their market share, which is to berate, belittle, and besmirch Enagic, Kangen Water, and even our distributors, but they do it online. Why? Because it's the cheapest way to do it. So why would I knowingly send a person, why would I send Daniel to the Lion's Den if I know that that's where it is? So I said, look, a magazine is one of those things that when a person sees it, there's a certain amount of credibility just because of the fact that the expense to print it was incurred. A person will see that, and because people aren't stupid, they know that these things don't just make themselves, you don't just go out to a forest, knock on a tree, and a magazine jumps out of it. No, there's a lot involved to create this stuff. And so because of that purpose, it allows them to give somebody something that when they haven't had to research and do all the work to figure it out. That's the number one. It's about being able to maximize efficiency. And I'll tell you what, man, if I had at my disposal for $3, I could have something where somebody did a 16-page magazine, cover to cover, professionally designed. All the information is accurate, it's compelling, and it could actually get a person to, potentially purchase a machine from me where I can make anywhere from, $285 to over $2,000, and it's going to cost me $3. Yeah, sign me up for that all day long, and that's kind of what the idea was. Some people they see the cover price, okay, like on the Global Business Review. The cover price on this one is $14.95. Okay, now would I expect someone in a Magic to pay $14.95 for this? No, I wouldn't expect it. Is the information that's contained inside of this worth $14.95? Absolutely, it's worth more than that. But just so you know, the reason that the cover price is what it is, it's for perceived perception. That's what it is, perceived value. Because if I put free, have you ever seen like a magazine or a little newspaper or something that says free on it? That establishes the value of the information that's contained. It's worthless. If they're giving it away for free, and again, this is perception. This is not to say that the information is worthless. It's about perceived value. So by having that on there right off the bat, you have somebody who's looking at this and they're going, wow, this cost the person who gave it to me $14.95. That's what they're thinking. It changes their seriousness about reviewing the information. Now they feel more compelled to say, I really need to take a look at this because, evidently there's some value to this. I mean, the magazines, they cost $14.95 normally. Okay, that's one of the reasons. So a lot of thought, time, and energy has gone into creating these different magazines in order to provide the best solution for people possible. So I'm going to talk real quickly. Go ahead, JJ. Sorry. Yeah.
I want to interject something right there because you just hit on something that is such a huge, huge part and dilemma of this company and what we are fighting on a daily basis. And I've actually done a couple of posts on Facebook just the last couple of days, basically talking about this exact same subject. Value versus cost. One of our biggest things, we need to figure out how to get people to look at this as an investment instead of an expense. We need to get them to understand the value versus the cost. And the thing is, you guys out there, that everybody that's going to be watching this, and that's watching it right now, that's going to be watching the replay, the value of this machine and what we have here with Kangen water is worth way more than what it actually costs. And one of our biggest issues is, and you all know it, everybody out there listening right now, and you and I, Gerry, we both know this. We've heard it 1,000 times. Oh, it's too expensive. It's not even an expense. It's an investment. There's a ginormous difference between the two. And, you have to understand the difference between value and cost and investment versus expense. And I'll tell you what, you guys, I'm not sure that I've seen anything yet that does a better job of explaining the difference between those things than the stuff that Gerry has put out. And so that's why I was like jumping on the opportunity to come on here, have him on for a special edition and help you guys understand this. I don't think there's anything better, but I had to just throw that in for the people out there listening because that's one of our biggest obstacles that we're facing on a daily basis is, oh, it's too expensive. And, and the thing is, it's priced so dang cheap, it's incredible. And
what's funny too is that, again, that's perception, because the reality is this, okay? The reality is this. If people really cared that much about cost, no one would be driving a car. They'd all be riding bicycles because bicycles are a hell of a lot cheaper. But you know what? They basically accommodate the same thing, right?
Yeah.
But can they? Yeah, they can get you from point A to point B. But what if you'd like to take your whole family on a vacation? Are you going to get everybody revved up on the bicycles and bike to Yosemite from New York? Probably not. You could, but it would make a lot more sense to drive a vehicle to do so. So it's like people have to understand, it's like, and that's one of the other reasons that exposure of information is so important, because if you can let somebody, because everybody, when they first hear about this, and this is the same for everybody. I don't care who the person is, okay? When they first start talking to somebody about this, immediately the other person, all they're thinking is water filtration. That's all they're thinking. They're thinking Culligan. They're thinking those little things you can put on the end of your faucet that does a little bit, a carbon filter that takes out a little bit of chlorine. That's what they're thinking. So it's important to be able to expand their exposure to get them to understand the further reaching ramifications of this, how it can reduce environmental impact, how it can improve health because of the aspect of proper hydration, how it can improve health by eliminating things like sugary beverages or even bottled waters that we know for a fact are extremely acidic. How do we know that? Because we test it all the time. We know these things, and we try to share this information with people. Why do people continue to drink bottled water? There's one reason and one reason only. They don't know there's an option. That's it, man. They don't know. That's it. They don't know. ... Because they might not know that if there's other options, that it's causing potential health harm, that it's having the effect on the environment as bad as that. They don't know. That starts the sentence, and it kind of sums everything up. That's why it's our job to inform them, let them know. And then once they understand that, this isn't just about some drinking water, this is about a lifestyle water. This is about being able to eliminate chemical cleaners from my household, as to not expose that stuff to the people I care about the most. And I'm reducing the possibility of a negative, something negative as a result of exposure to those things. So that's a piece. See, think about it like a puzzle, okay? If I took one or two pieces of a puzzle and set them down on a table and I said, what do you think of that? You're going to look and go, I have no idea what I'm looking at. I can only see these two little things. I'm trying to make it out, but I don't know. But think about it as you put more pieces of the puzzle together. Eventually, you're going to have a picture that anyone can recognize. So that's why it's about puzzle pieces. That's what these are. These are puzzle pieces. It's helping create the picture in the mind and the eyes of the prospect. You're putting together the puzzle. That's why, having them drink the water, that's a piece of the puzzle. Having them exposed to information, that's a piece of the puzzle. Having them, talk to other people about it, getting their feedback of what they've experienced, that's a piece of the puzzle. And once that puzzle starts really coming to shape, and there's plenty of times a person will purchase one of the machines without the entire picture being in frame. Well, why would they do that? Because enough of it is in frame for them to recognize what it is and how it benefits them. So that's one of the reasons that these materials and things are so much more valuable than I think most people recognize. And there's also, I was talking to JJ about this before we started today. There's psychology in sales. There's things that like hot buttons. What are the things that another person responds to? Things of that nature. But most of the time in sales, we only consider the prospect psychology, what we're doing with them. But there's another psychology in sales that's about what you're doing with you, okay? One of the example I gave to JJ is, I'll have somebody who, let's say they've got a couple of friends that have pets. Okay, and they decide they're going to pick up a couple of the Heads and Tails magazines so they can share information with those couple of friends that they kind of have lined up to get information. Okay, so they order 5 copies of the magazine, and you know what? That's perfectly fine. However many people they think that they need or are going to use, fantastic. But the reality is, if you purchase 5, you've already set yourself up for a very slow go, okay? And one of the reasons is you're not taking yourself out of your own comfort zone. You're not making an investment in your own activity and motivation. Because I can tell you this, if you purchase 5 of these, you will do 5 magazines worth of work. Well, what then if you purchase 50 of them? Well, what you're going to wind up doing is 50 magazines worth of work. And now let me ask you, which do you think is going to have a better chance of results, 5 or 50? The reason that you want to get more than what you need is because it will become a motivation for you to find more people to give them to. It all of a sudden lights a fire under your butt. Why? Well, because you have this stack of magazines sitting on your desk that you're looking at every day, and you're going, "Right, I need to do something with these." But you also have spent some of your money that could have been spent elsewhere that now you need to say, wow, you know what? I've already spent the dough. I need to convert that expense, that investment, into a return. And the way that I'm going to do that is by getting out there and putting these things to good use. And that's one of the things I've never really understood when people do buy. You know, there was a time that I offered these in singles for people just to be able to check them out. And people were buying singles. And I get it, to check it out. But it's like, if I was going to take the time, the effort, the energy, pay the shipping, all that, I'm going to want to maximize my expense. I'm going to want to get as much as I can out of it, because then it reduces my per unit cost and reduces my per unit investment, and it's going to be easier for me to recoup my funds. You know, I buy 50 of these. Obviously, I buy 50 of these. I make one sale. I don't care if you're, you know, a brand new person. You're going to make money. You're going to make money once that sale happens, because 50 of these don't cost $285, right. You know? And it's like, I think people need to change their thinking when it comes to, you know, how they're approaching materials, and realizing, you know, one of the things that I do with every brand new person, okay, and you guys can check this with any of my people. You can contact anybody that's part of my team. One of the things I do, especially with a brand new person, is I send them what I call a care package. And basically what it is, it's every single material that I make, every single one, in a package. And I send them a little note from me that says, "Welcome to the team. I wanted you to take a look at what I have available. Let me know what resonates with you," because it is the reality is not everything is going to resonate with every single person, and I don't want it to. I want what resonates with the person to be what they gravitate towards when it comes to their marketing efforts. Here's the deal, okay? If you are into this, all right, then I would focus on this over this. Why? Because if you're a fitness fanatic, most likely your circle is the same thing. Your circle of influence, your world market and hot market that's around you will most likely have similar interests. Why? Because birds of a feather flock together. That's the reason why. Is because when you have a particular interest, you will typically surround yourself with people that are like-minded. So if this and this are the things that you gravitate towards, most likely that's what your market will gravitate towards. So it would make sense for you to go heavier on those things. It's not to say not get any of the other ones, but go heavy on what makes sense for you and your market. That's one of the reasons that I've tried to have a diversification of information. The consumer guide, it was really more like all over the place. You know, it really was, with the contents and everything. There was all sorts of stuff that it, but primarily what that was created for was to address the different parts of the machines, like the dual filtrations, and why companies have the dual filters, the mesh plates. It was to address aspects of the technology. Okay, but it was more generic. Then I started doing stuff like this. Who is this for? This is for anybody who likes athletics, who is into athletics or sports, who enjoys fitness. That's why if you look at the inside, the diversity of the people that are featured It's from pro football players to nutritionists to chiropractors to, to yoga instructors to Olympic swimmers to boxers to MMA fighters. I mean, it's to pro baseball players. It's so diverse because we wanted to speak to an interest of the person looking at it. That's what the idea was. Same thing with the Heads and Tails magazine. Let me tell you what, Heads and Tails is a pretty good one because most pet owners will spend more money on their pets than they will themselves. Yeah. That's just a reality. If you know anybody who's a diehard pet owner, and there are a ton of them, not just in America, but all over the world, okay? So, that's what these magazines are created for. Now, the one of the most recent ones, which is this one, so what I like to do when I'm getting ready to do a magazine, I'll have a general idea in my head of, what I want it to be about, the general topic. Well, then I will go online, and the first thing I don't want to do is copy anybody else's name as far as a magazine is concerned. So I will do extensive research to make sure that, my magazine, the Global Business Review, mine's the only one with that title, okay? But I did find a couple of business review magazines where what they basically did is they took a company with the CEO and they basically did a spotlight. And it was, on the international, on the international stage. And so I looked at these different magazines to get an idea of what they have done and what they've done successfully. And then I tailor it to our project. And so for the Global Business Review, the reason that I did this one is because when you're a brand new person in this business, you're excited, you're energetic, you're hopeful, but the reality is when it comes to the information of this business, you're stupid. And it's because you just haven't had the exposure of the information, okay? So, and one of the most difficult things to explain for a brand new person to explain are the inner workings and intricacies of the business model itself, of the business, because it happens to every single person. They're brand new, they're excited, they start talking to people. Oh, this is MLM. Right off the bat. Oh, this is network marketing. Right off the bat. And most of the time when a person says that, most people who say this is MLM or network marketing, they actually don't even know what those things really mean. Okay? They're buzzwords that they've heard on a 2020 thing because some company did some shady stuff. So they want to lump every company that is in the industry, okay? That would be like slighting Ferrari because of Yugo. It just doesn't make any sense to do so. They're not the same thing, okay? So when people understand that it can be difficult, that's what this was created for. It was created to give people not only a background of the company itself, where it came from, but it also covers some stuff that's pretty cool when it comes to the history of the actual technology, the different products that are available, the power supply. It's talking about some technology stuff, certifications, why these certifications are important. These are things that are unique to Enagic. That's why they're in this magazine. Some people might go, we're living with a power supply. Well, why? Because we have a hybrid power supply that no other ionizer in the entire industry has. The way that it's put together, because most people don't realize, we actually have a three device power supply that has three different, very distinctive parts when they work together. That's the reason our machines work as good as they do. It's because these work in conjunction with each other. And it explains that, gives a history of Mr. Oshiro. And one of the reasons that was included is because, I don't know about you, but if I'm going to go into business with somebody, okay, and when you become a distributor, you're essentially going into business with Enagic as your partner, okay? Well, if I'm going to go into business with somebody, I damn well better know who they are, what they're about, and make sure that what their core principles are align with mine. And that's why I included that information about Mr. Oshiro, because his story is very compelling. Why? Because he came from a war-torn country where the opportunity wasn't just falling from the sky. You had to actually make opportunity happen. And he persevered through it. And as everybody knows, we just celebrated the 45th anniversary of the company. And that was because of the tenacity of Mr. Oshiro. So I think it was important to include his information there because, to be perfectly honest, Mr. Oshiro is a Magic. Okay? He is a Magic. And all of us are a branch of that. So, talking about, the corporate philosophy, the things they do for the community, the history of the actual company itself, not Mr. Oshiro's history, but the history of the actual company, how it has progressed and grown, where it originally came from, how it became what it is today. See, all those things are wrapped up in 16 condensed pages right here. So what do you think? That as a brand new person, you're going to try to, the next 6 months, learn how to say all this stuff? Which would be easier? 6 months worth of learning or hand this to somebody? Obviously, as you're learning, this becomes a go-to because this can also be a way for you to learn. Matter of fact, I recommend to people, man, if you're going to give something away, you better know what it says. You better have read this whole thing over from cover to cover, so then if a person comes back to you and has a question about the patented possibilities and wants to know, can you please explain this little graph down here, that you even know that it's in there and that you can explain it. Why can you explain it? Because you read over the explanation, the information that's provided for you, and then you customize it to your own pitch, but it gives you the foundation on which to build. And that's one of the problems. Most of the time, you're not going to hear this stuff like this in a training because it's too, a couple of these articles in here, if I had them in their original, they would have been 5 pages long. One article. So I had to condense the information to just the nuts and bolts of it, just the basics, so that a person can learn those things and then be able to share that information. Same thing with like the brochures. This is probably the only, the antioxidant brochure is probably the only one that's really like generic. But even this is more targeted towards, health conscious type people. But this one for sports and athletics, this one for kitchen application and cooking, this one for our eco-friendly tree-hugging friends, this one for the beauty, and believe it or not, this is a lot more valuable because people are vain. I hate to say it. People are vain, and nobody wants to get old. Nobody wants to look like they're getting old. And, so the Balanced Beauty brochure is actually one of the most popular ones that we've ever had. Feeling trapped for the aspect of potential weight loss through the water, and then Tap into a Fortune. So each one of these were created in order to give the person who's sharing information the ability to really get something that resonates with them. If you love to cook, then you're going to be around people who love to cook, and this is a great brochure. But if you are an environmental activist, then something like this is the best thing for you. And that's why there's diversity in the information, because one of the things I found when it comes to prospecting is, people are okay with you starting with generalities, but they quickly will get bored with that, and they want you to speak to them. And speaking to them means talking to them about what they think is important, not what you think is important. They don't care what you think as far as importance or not important. They care about what they think is important. So if you have somebody who does not care at all about athletics and you give them this, it's going to be your bad when they don't call you back, or they don't want additional information, or they don't want to try the water. Why? Because you weren't speaking their language. This could be Greek to them. They're like, this doesn't pertain to me, and it's gone. That's why it's important to understand the way these tools, and these are tools. Tools are just like, have you ever, and I already know this answer because, we're stupid guys, so we do this all the time. Have you ever hammered in a nail with something other than a hammer? The answer is yes. Whatever was closest, if the hammer wasn't. That's how we do things. But the reality is that hammer was made with a very specific intention. It's weighted, the length, everything else was meant to make the job of driving a nail the easiest possible. So can a really big wrench drive a nail? Yes, it can, but that's not what it was designed to do. If you identify how to use these tools and understand what they were meant to do and use them accordingly, then those tools will help you build your business much more efficiently, much more quickly, and much bigger too. And that's why, yeah, you know, if you want to do some basics, to me, you know, this is a hammer, okay? This is a pneumatic hammer. There's a big difference. Why? Because this one, I got to use my own kind of pop, 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 pop. This one, I just hold it and it does the work. Okay? If you've ever used a pneumatic hammer, you know what that is, okay? It's air driven and they work really well. Why? Because I'm not swinging my arm. It's about maximizing. But if I've got somebody, here's another thing too that I try to do is create these in a tiered approach. Because that really is how prospecting goes. So when I originally did the Healthy Times newspapers, okay, what bundles at 200. What this was meant to do is give you the most cost-effective method to get initial information to somebody. Why? Because these are generic. These cover so many different things. There's you know, stuff about Dr. Shinya. There's stuff about sodas. There's stuff about, you know, bottled waters leading to health issues. It's all encompassing. So if you give this to somebody, but this is also the most cost-effective way to get information into somebody's hands, okay? So you give them a copy of the Healthy Times newspaper, then you do some follow-up and you say, and by the way, what was the thing that interested you the most? And let's say that they said, oh, it was something about sports. Okay, well then the next time I give them water, I'm going to give them one of these. Why? Because this is slightly more expensive, and this is stage 2 in the process. Stage 1 was figuring out what their hot button was going to be. What was going to be the thing that was going to actually get them to say, hey, I'd like to check this out. Okay, once you know that, then you can go to the next stage in the approach, which would be this. Then if they continue and they're showing more and more, then eventually I'm going to give them this one. It is a progression of cost. Why? Because I'll be willing to spend more money on a prospect as they show greater potential for becoming a buyer. That's why I don't just hand out magazines to every person I see. And I make them. I get them for the best price of anybody. But I still don't just give them out. I do the process. Why? Because at the end of the day, the ones that I give out, I pay for. And I'm going to maximize my expenses. That's the way, you know, that's how you build a good business. And I do the same thing. I'll start with the newspaper. I will ask you for feedback. Once they give that to me, I'll take the next step. And so if you do a progression like that, what you're going to discover is that you're really able to maximize your expenditures when it comes to these materials. Because if you give a newspaper to somebody and you never hear from them again, guess what? You just saved, even if you were going to just give them one of these, you saved that money. And if you end up doing that 100 times, those savings will start to add up. And that's why I would rather spend a dime than 50 cents. It only makes sense. But once I find out that my dime was a good investment with a person, I'm willing to invest the 50 cents. And once I discover that my 50 cents was a good investment with the person, I'm willing to spend the $3. So if you really think about it, if you end up spending less than $5 on materials for a single prospect that ends up buying a machine, that is pretty good efficiency of money. It really is. Now, I will tell you this. These are one of the things that are being discontinued. And again, it's not because they're not desired. It's because production costs, again, have become a hindrance. You know, to get any kind of break on price, the amount that has to be purchased is sizable, you guys. I mean, we're talking, you know, 50,000 to 100,000 copies in order to get these down to a price that's manageable in my mind for the average everyday person. So these are going to, honestly, I think there's only 20 packets of these left, 20. And so, again, it's going to be first come, first serve, and whoever gets them. And don't, see, this is something else that's kind of interesting that I want to make sure everybody understands. When I say there's 20 of these left, it means there's 20 of these left for the rest of the world. I still have them for me and my team, okay? I'm still going to be utilizing these because I know that they work. But the financial realities are, you know, for me to make my money back on these, you got to sell quite a few of them. And I've put out, like JJ said to begin with, this isn't a magic writing checks for these to be produced. This is an individual person, me, writing checks for these things to be produced. And if people want to have them available, they need to make sure that they're utilizing them. And then, like I said, buying more than what you think you need is actually a great idea because of the fact that it's going to force you to get out there and maximize that expense. And once you do that, it's almost like a locomotive. It can be really slow getting going. But once that thing is going, it's nearly impossible to stop it. And that's what you want to do. You want to create momentum that carries on even when you kind of stay back a little bit. And one of the ways that you can do that is by utilizing materials that are constantly propelling and putting you in another person in front of another person. See, that's another reason why I hate sending somebody to a website. Why? Because just trying to get to the website, there's a possibility of them getting so distracted they'll never even make it there. You know what I mean? So, but they go to their, I tell them, hey, I sent you an email with a link to a website. They go to their email, and before they can even hit the link, they see another thing in their inbox that's flashing that says, hey, look at me, check this out. And they're like, oh, I wonder what this is. And they'll click that, and they forget about me completely. But let's say that they do make it online. Let's say that you send them to a video on something like YouTube, okay? The tough thing about that is, I don't know if you've seen how YouTube works, but there's a whole bunch of videos on the other side. And sometimes some of those videos have been paid for replacement by the leeches, by our so-called competition. So I'm sending you to a video that has our competitors on the side. Why would I want you to potentially get that type of exposure? That's one of the other reasons I love printed materials. There is no additional distractions. Plus, you can come back to this any time you want. You don't have to be in front of a device. You don't have to worry about if your phone is charged. You don't have to worry about if your tablet's got enough juice. You don't have to worry about sitting in front of your computer. This is something that you can have any place. That's why it actually has value. That's the reason it has value, because it can be used any place. So that's one of the things that I think really, people kind of have to understand and realize that a lot more went into this. And, I like quirky stuff too. I know everybody saw these, and maybe I'm ridiculously retarded because I just love weird stuff like this. Why? Because, I don't know, I've always been that guy that I like something that's a conversation starter. That, like, if I'm going to sign paperwork, I'm going to pull out this pen and I'm going to light this bad boy up before I sign my part, and then I'm going to hand it to my prospect, and they're going to just see this glowing pin welcoming them to the Enagic family, and they're like, wow, I've never seen something like this. And that's exactly why I do what I do. I love that reaction. I've never seen something like this. Ta-da! That's why I do what I do. It's because I don't want you to have seen something like that. JJ, I was talking about, before we got started, that I made these cups a while back. And they say Condon coffee. I don't know if this is backwards. I can't really see it. If it is backwards, I apologize. But it says Condon coffee. Well, I made these a while back and made them available, and people loved them. Why? Because when you have somebody come over to the house, you're going to talk to them maybe about the business, you're a little into it and everything, and you say, hey, can I get you a cup of the best coffee you've ever tasted? Now, if you're going to start with that, you're darn well better put it in something that's memorable. You better put that stuff in something that's going to have an impact. So then the person looks and goes, oh my gosh, you even have custom cups? This is awesome. Yeah, it just made the entire experience more awesome because of that. But this was a limited edition thing, and that's another thing too. I will test the waters with limited edition products. I'll see something that I like, and I'll go, well, hey man, I'm going to make this thing and see what happens. I make it, I'll make it available. If it's super duper popular, everybody loves it, yeah, maybe I'll even do it again. But if it's to get the juices flowing, like these two, man, these are the new backpacks. Now, here's the thing. There's two different styles. And some people will be like, well, it's not like I'm in school. Why do I need a backpack? Well, let me ask you something. First off, you want to brand your business. And if you want to brand your business, well, that's what this is. And this is not just some little, applique. This is embroidered, okay? And that because I like quality. Well, if you were, let's say that you were going to be doing a demo, wouldn't it be nice for you to be able to have a turnkey little situation where you could just grab this out of your trunk? Because in the bottom, this is actually kind of cool. This is one of the reasons that this particular backpack was selected. It has a bottom pouch, completely separated from the entire thing. It's intended for gym shoes. That's what it's for. But as soon as I saw this, all I saw was bottles for a demo. Put those bad boys at the very bottom of this thing. Don't have to worry about leaking all over your stuff. Zip this thing up, have materials and the rest of the stuff in the body of this thing, and then have it in your trunk, ready to go at a moment's notice. You could just grab it out of your trunk, walk up, and you could literally have a demo type stuff. Now, here's the thing, though. Again, these are limited edition. There's only 10 of these available. 10. 10. Okay? The black ones, and then there's these two, which are the, the blue and black, again, but with the embroidered. And it's to give people an option, but there's only 10 of each, and they're going fast. So if anybody wants any of those, you definitely better jump on those. But that's, it's about having your business contained in something, and having it be able to be available so that you have some brochure. I mean, have you ever been in a situation where you were someplace and you ran into somebody, struck up a conversation, and you just said, wow, man, this person is great, but then you realize you didn't have any materials on you. You didn't have, and you're just beating yourself up because you're like, darn it, man, if I only would have. And that's what people need to get. They need to understand it happens to everybody, okay? And that's why these type of solutions have been created, is to help you avoid getting stuck in that particular rut, which is having the opportunity in front of you and you aren't able to maximize the opportunity because you're not completely prepared. And that's really what a lot of these materials are about, is being able to be prepared. There's even a couple of DVDs. I don't know if, I know a lot of people are like, DVD? What's that? Well, here's the deal. One of the things that I've realized, and again, I get analytics from the stuff that I send out. I've got a constant contact email account, and if you're not on that email account or our email list, you should get on it, because when I do a sale, when I do a special, sometimes I do something that's for subscribers only. No one else finds out about it. And it's my way of saying thank you for your patronage, thank you for your subscription, thank you for being a part of what we're doing. That's how I can say thank you, is by giving them access to something that nobody else has access to. But the majority, it's really funny, the majority of people who purchase stuff from me, according to my analytics, over 70% of them are on traditional computers. Only 30% are on a telephone. Which what that tells me is the majority of people who are interested in this stuff, they're older. They're like us. They're more old school. They don't. Their whole life doesn't revolve around their device and their phone. And so what that tells me is that they do still use things like DVDs. And again, these are safe. Why? Because it's a video without me going to YouTube or Vimeo or any of those other ones where I can't control the additional content that they might stumble across. That's why these are good. This one, this is I don't know how many people even know about this one. This is the consumer guide to the water ionizer industry. This is all about the technology. This is all about talking about the power supply, about the plates, about all that stuff. That's what this is. And I think it's 4 or 5 parts. But if you haven't seen this, you should at least get a copy of it, because it will, especially if you're brand new, you don't know about the technology, this will expedite your learning curve. And then this one, this DVD is the old hospital footage, but I remastered it because the voiceover that was on it was horrible. It was horrible. And so I researched some of the information that was on there, because that was the other thing too. The original voiceover that was on there, some of the information was wrong. And I'm a stickler for that type of stuff. I hate when somebody puts something out, people start depending on that, and then you find out that the information that they put out was incorrect and inaccurate. I think that actually happened recently with the new video I did with ionized versus alkalized, there's been some really wrong information been said about the word alkalized in conjunction with our water, and it's just wrong. But because the source of the wrong information was coming from someone that people thought was a trusted source, people ran with it, and they shared it and shared it and shared it. And now what it's done is it's actually put us in a bad position, because that's what all these bottled alkaline waters are calling themselves. Alkalized. Literally, it's printed on the side of some of the bottles. It's printed on there. So if you have a consumer that goes and sees this, they're going to be like, oh, well, this person said that common water is alkalized, and this water says alkalized, but this water only costs 89 cents for the bottle. That machine costs $2,000 to $6,000. This is a better value, and I'm getting the same thing. That's what people think. And that's what happens when the wrong terminology is being used and becomes commonplace. Because then it's like, now we have to backtrack and de-educate people. Not re-educate them, we have to de-educate, because they think they've already been educated, but the reality is the education that they got was incorrect information. So that's another reason it's important to know what you're giving people, know the source of that information, verify the source, and don't just take for granted that it's correct, because you didn't have to be, you weren't the one who had to put the information together. And I think too many people do that. They will naturally assume, oh, well, this must be accurate because this person wouldn't be saying it otherwise. Don't think that way, okay? A lot of people talk out of their butts. I hate to say it like that, but a lot of people do. They hear something, they kind of draw their own conclusions, and then they say something in response to that. But that something might not be correct. And I tell people that, I'll say, hey, look, if you ever find something that I put out there that is inaccurate, let me know. Because not only will I apologize for it, I'll correct it. But that doesn't usually happen with me, because I'm kind of a stickler for digging into stuff and really having a good understanding of it before I share that information with somebody else. Because the last thing I want to do is provide information to people that ends up being inaccurate and making their job more difficult and making me look like I don't know what I'm doing. I do not like, I'd rather say nothing at all. That's what's that old adage? It's better to say nothing and have people think you a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. I'd rather have people think I don't know what I'm talking about by not saying anything than say something that's wrong. So that's some of the stuff that we have going on right now. Now let me tell you about the actual sale itself. So it's 20% off, and I know that's not a huge amount, but the reality is, in business, anytime you can catch a break, man, take advantage of it, no matter what. The code is simple, S-A-L-E, the word sale. That's all you have to do is pop that in there when you're just getting ready to exit the site, and you're going to save an extra 20%. And like I said, getting ready for the end of summer and really that last push going into the holiday months and the fourth quarter of 2019, it's going to be important that you do have your little arsenal of stuff, because I tell people all the time, I say, look, don't discount November and December. Those have traditionally, for us, in the 12 years I've been here, those have been the best months. And one of the main reasons is because you end up getting together with people that you don't normally see throughout the course of the year. You're getting together with people for family gatherings at like Thanksgiving. You're getting together during the holidays for whether it be Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, there's all these different holidays that come towards the end of the year. And if you're not ready to take advantage of them, then don't be surprised when you're not able to take advantage of them. And that's why, one of these goofy backpacks in your trunk when you go to your in-laws or you go to grandma's for Thanksgiving or whatever, having that in there, and then you strike up a conversation, somebody says, oh, I saw something about that recently. And you say, hey, would you guys like to see something cool? I know I wasn't planning to do this, but I always come prepared. I think like a Boy Scout. Always be prepared. Let me run out to my car. I've got something out there you guys might get a kick out of. Run out there, grab your backpack, bring the stuff in, do a little demo, pull out a couple of materials, leave it with them, because that way you're not being that obnoxious person, like bringing it in with you when you come in, because that's what you are. That's what you intend to do. Look, you can intend to do something. Just don't let everybody else know that was what your intention was. Don't be so obvious about it that, it's like being at a party and somebody says, so what do you do for a living? And all of a sudden out of my coat pocket, I'm like, well, so you should ask for that. It's like, no, man, I'm setting that up, just waiting for somebody to ask me what I can. You don't want to be that person because it becomes so painfully obvious what you're doing, okay? So it's not to say that you can't do it. You just have to be smart about it. Do it in a way that isn't making your intention obvious, because people are typically if you come off selling, well, I'm glad you asked. Man, people will shut down because they don't want to be sold, okay? But if it seems like it is just a spontaneous happenstance that you just happen to be prepared because you are I don't even know how. I was never a Boy Scout. I was gonna make a joke that I got kicked out of Cub Scouts for eating brownies, but that's just such a bad joke that it's especially in this day and age. So no, I won't even make that one. But if you're prepared for stuff, there's nothing wrong with that. So be prepared, but don't be obnoxious about it. And you know what I mean? I hope the people who are watching this, that makes sense to them. That it's like, wow, you know what? Yeah, I never really thought about it like that. That, yes, I'm in a sales program, but the reality is most people don't like to be sold. So I need to make sure that my sales pitch doesn't come off as a sales pitch. That's really what you want to try to achieve. And that's another reason why utilizing materials can be very beneficial, because you're not the one selling. The material is the one selling, and it's selling by informing them of information. You're almost like the public library. You're providing a service. You're providing a service of information, and should a person decide that information is compelling enough for them to want to move on and get additional information, or maybe try the water, that's what you're after. But, utilizing these things as the tools they were meant to be used as is a very important part. And I mean, I know for a fact that there are so many people that have used this information. And let me tell you one of the other things that's really interesting, okay? This isn't just new people that are using it. I have some of the biggest names in Enagic who use my materials on an ongoing basis. I mean, biggest names of Enagic, okay? Why? Because they recognize the value. They understand how well this stuff works. And that's one of the reasons that they decide to use it. So I enjoy, and it's kind of funny, I never thought of myself as like that creative of a person. I never did, because when I was younger, I was much more athletic. That was, I was in pretty darn good shape. I could play a lot of sports. I could do things a lot of people couldn't do. And I enjoyed that. So I never really tapped into my more creative side. But evidently, it's always been there. I just wasn't really embracing it. Well, as I've gotten older, I've realized how much I really enjoy the creative process and actually enjoy creating things, especially if I know they can help people. And that's why, when I put one of these magazines together, it's a labor of love. It really is. Because there's a lot to it. I want everybody to understand that too, man. There's a lot to putting these things together, but I really enjoy it. And I don't know, there's a sense of satisfaction in knowing that my efforts and work are going to help other people and have helped other people literally change their lives. That's kind of cool, Maybe I guess sometimes I'm kind of goofy when it comes to that type of stuff, that stuff really is important to me. Beyond just the lip service of it, because that's what everybody, I love to help people, but yet everything they do only helps themselves, because I know there's people out there that know exactly the type of people I'm talking about. I genuinely, like when I put that video together with the alkalized versus ionized waters, that took, believe it or not, that actually took some time, man. I had to write a script for that. We had to get all the lighting and everything set up. Just shooting the video was about 2.5, 3 days. And it wasn't that long. And then it was putting the whole thing together. I've got to give my son props. Thank you, son Nathaniel, for helping me with the editing and putting that whole thing together. I mean, a lot of energy went into that, and my expectations were not to make any sales out of that whatsoever. All I was trying to do was help clarify a piece that I felt had really gotten out of control, and that if we didn't do something about it soon, it was going to really bite us in the butt because of because of the bottlers and what they were calling theirs. And I was seeing more and more natural distributors referring to our water as alkalized, and I was like, if this continues, it's going to start affecting me adversely. So I need to put something out there that, instead of me just saying, you shouldn't be using that term, because people want to know, okay, well, why? They don't want to just be told you should or you shouldn't. They want to know why. And so I tried to address that, and that's why I did that. It was to try to help everybody out. My expectations aren't to get anything out of that. I don't have anything connected to that video. There's nothing that you can buy. I just put information out there. I like helping people, and I do like that creative process. So I hope at the end of the day, I don't even need your appreciation, because that's not something that I've never been one of those attaboy type people. I don't need somebody patting me on the back to know that I make a contribution and the stuff that I do matters. I don't need that. I just really have never been like that. I just like to know that it helped people, that they've been able to utilize these things. It's made their job of exposing information and educating people about the water, about the benefits, about the things that are correct and the things that aren't correct. That it's been able to help them, and that their life is changing. Because again, that's the stuff that matters to me. Okay, because just so you know, I probably help more people that are not connected to my team than I help in my own team. That's phone calls that I get. The stuff, it's usually people that aren't even part of my team. So quite literally, I have no vested interest whatsoever in the vast majority of people that I'm providing information to. And that means whether someone sends me a private message on Facebook, someone sends me an email, somebody does a post, and there's a question about something, and I write a comment. That's another thing too. I know people, when they see my comments, they're like, Gerry's at it again. He's written another novel. But that's just because I like being thorough. I like being able to put a thorough explanation, so that as I'm explaining it, and I already know that as the explanation goes, it's actually going to bring up one or two more questions. I will answer those questions in the initial, instead of waiting till the question comes that I already know is going to come. I'll just address it in that. So yeah, my stuff is a little bit longer, but I'm going to tell you this: if you review the posts that I put on Facebook and stuff like that, if you actually read everything, you will get stuff out of it. If you just kind of look at the first couple lines and then you're like, oh, this is too long, well, then you're not going to get nothing out of it at all. But if you actually read the whole thing, you will typically walk away with at least something, even if it's just a slightly different perspective. But sometimes just a slightly different perspective can change everything for us. Because that's all. Think about that. We might have cared about our health, but before we were exposed to Enagic, we were probably doing things that, once we were exposed to this water and got a little bit new information, it changed our perspective, which changed our habits, which changed our results. Yeah. And so that's one of the other things to really keep in mind, that, one of the things you're trying to do with exposing people to information is allow them to kind of come up with their own conclusion. Now, there's nothing wrong with that conclusion being the one you wanted them to come up with, but a lot of times allowing them to come up with that own conclusion themselves can be the difference between them moving forward and them drifting off, into the netherworld. So always keep that in mind too. Feed people information that they're interested in, and then follow up and allow them to give you basically what you're going to need to help them make a buying decision. But that's about more listening than talking. And that's the other reason that, you give this information to people, it will you can strike up a conversation with it. Let's have a dialogue. Then listen. If you listen in sales, if you're willing to listen, a prospective buyer will tell you everything they need to purchase. But the problem is most people don't know how to listen. They know how to respond. So that's, a person says something, they're not really listening to what the person's saying. They're already preparing their rebuttal or their response. And instead of that, listen to what the person's saying. They'll tell you exactly what you need to know to get them to make that purchase. And by providing more things that don't talk, you have a better opportunity to be able to listen. Okay, so that's kind of the materials and everything. And I feel like I've done so much talking now, JJ. I apologize. I should have let you. I don't know if you had any questions or if anybody has any questions or anything. But I just hope that the stuff that I'm doing here, it does actually help people. And I really it has, and I just hope that it continues to do so.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I did have one question about that blue backpack. Does that have the compartment underneath it too, or is it just the black one that does?
Just the black one that does. This one is it's a different style, but both of them are actually they're laptop bags. They've got the extra padding and the pocket and everything inside. So basically, this is the first one that I got. Then I saw that one, and I was like, oh, man, I'm going to get that one, too, because it's cool. So this one, I think, would probably be more for, let's say that you were going to go to some type of event. You were going to go to a, like a big, I don't know, like health expo or something. This was more as to catch your eye. The Enagic type blue with the embroidered logo and everything. You have some materials in this and stuff. That's really what the original intention was. Once I saw that one with the drop down bottom, I was like, oh, that would be perfect for a demo kit. For a nice portable demo kit, especially with the fact that bottom compartment, it's lined with waterproofing stuff. So you literally could put the bottles down there and have printed materials up top with your laptop and never have to worry about those liquids leaking and getting on your stuff. When I saw that, I was like, oh boy, that's a really good one. So each one of the different things that I've created, they really do have very specific intention. And if you use it like that, it will work in your favor. That's the point, But like I said, the blue, if you're walking around like this and this big E, you have it behind you, okay? JJ, do me a favor. Lift up about 5 inches. Okay, see that shirt that you're wearing? If that's in the front and the logo's in the back, you got both directions covered.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff people need to think about. You need to be a walking, talking advertisement for our business, for your business. This is your business, okay? You want to be a walking, talking advertisement that has information available on the go, no matter where you are, and whether that be it's available in the trunk of your car, it's slung over your shoulder, it's in your back pocket, wherever it happens to be. You just want to be prepared. And that's, having quality at your disposal with compelling information. That's probably two of the most important things to really getting a person's interest when it comes to wanting to find out more about this stuff.
Yeah. I've got to give a little plug here because what you were just talking about just wanting to help people, and I've got to say that just what you've done for the Kong family and the Kong family show. You've been on here 3 other times other than being on here today. And you've helped me out tremendously with things and you guys, I'm not on Gerry's team. I mean, I'm in the same league with him, and that's the thing is we're all in the same league. And one of the reasons why this is so cool, at least in my opinion, with all the things I've done over my life, trying to make money because I've always hated working for other people. I've never seen a company like this that is so put together for the purpose of literally giving us a built-in incentive to help each other. That's one of the things that has always bothered me about other network marketing companies is that they're all like secretive of all their little tidbits and all their trainings and their materials and this kind of stuff because, oh, you're not on my team. No, I'm not telling you nothing. I've had people who actually would not help me at all because I was not on their team in other companies. And that kind of thing has been very, very, very few and far between with Enagic. And people might not understand this. And quite frankly, it's something I wish I would have understood a lot sooner. Because I want to encourage everybody, there's a big reason for having Gerry on the show. Because these products that he manufactures are really, really good. They are top notch. They are professional. They will teach you stuff that you're not going to really learn anywhere else. And to be able to learn them in these little places, in these tidbits, is super powerful. And like he said, being able to have this stuff at your disposal to give out to people when you are able to use a shirt or a backpack or a cup or whatever to stimulate some curiosity. Instead of you having to explain it to them, you go, here, check this out. Because not only is that easier for you, but that's duplicatable for your team. But one of the things I wish I would have done in the beginning now, and ultimately it's probably cost me about $40,000. And that is that I wasn't interested in the business. I wasn't interested in the business. I didn't. One of my first K8 that I sold, the guy who bought it from me, he said, so how does this marketing plan working? Or not the marketing compensation plan. I said, I don't know. I don't even care. And that was part of the reason why he ended up buying a machine from me, is because he knew I wasn't into it about the money. But, when it comes right down to it, I cost myself a tremendous amount of money because I was going off in all these different directions, spending money on all this stuff that turned out to be empty promises and lies and a bunch of nonsense that literally I would have been so much better off if I'd have bought myself 10 Kong machines and learned about this plan, learned about how this system works and really how these tools that Gerry has created, how they can help you to build this business. And I think you've done a tremendous job of explaining today. And you've actually helped me. Every single time you come on here, you help me. And you help everybody in the family. And this is going to get shared out for people to learn from. But, the whole thing, one thing from riding the wave, because you haven't even really touched on riding the wave. And I would like to make sure that you get a few minutes, whatever, to explain to people what riding the wave was all about and make sure that people know that they can still get that. And, they can get it through 6A, going 6A.com. But one thing that you said in there, Gerry, that really hit me hard is you said that one of the mistakes you made with getting into this business is that you had a goal of becoming 6A. And you said that actually cost you money because you had that goal. And truthfully, that's most everybody's goal in this business, is to become 6A. Instead of being 6A-2, which is really where you want to be, and you want to get, ultimately you want to get to that 6A2-3 level, because then you get a piece of everything. But my point of mentioning this is that for those of you who don't understand the compensation plan, when you reach that level of 6A2-3, you now get a little piece of every machine that gets sold on planet Earth. And what was really big for me about that was that is literally a vested interest for us to help each other. That's a vested interest for you to help me, and for you to help Linda and Carola and Christy and Alex and Sean and everybody that's out there in the business, regardless of whether they're on your team or not. Because once you reach that level, and it's very attainable, you guys, if you just don't quit and you just keep working and working, and you get yourself some of these kinds of materials that can be systematically used. That's what I love. I'm gonna, as soon as I'm done here, I got to get on and get some of those consumer guides, the consumer newspapers, or the Healthy Times newspapers. I got to get some of those before they're gone, because that's a huge thing. I need things like that, and I'm hell bent for leather to continue to work this, because I'm more passionate about this company than anything I've ever done in my life. And I've never had anything where someone calling you up crying, thanking you for introducing you to this water and how it changed your life. There's simply nothing that I've ever experienced in my life that is more fulfilling for me. And, so I really, really appreciate the things that you're doing, Gerry. And I'm just so happy that you're willing to come on here and share with us. And, you know, the other 3 times that you've been on here, you weren't selling anything. You weren't, you know, anything like that. You were just here helping, and you're been such a tremendous help. And I can't thank you enough, buddy. And you know, just for everybody out there, I've reached out to Gerry about all kinds of things. When he says that he helps people that aren't in his downline, he's not just blowing smoke, because I'm living proof of that. He has helped me tremendously. And like I said, I'm not even in his downline, and you know, he doesn't get paid for this time that he's coming on. And, you know, he comes on all the time, and, you know, heck, you gave us 2.5 hours one night.
That was a good one, though, man. We covered some really great information on that one. And it flew by too. That was the thing that I thought we'd been talking for about an hour, and then by the time I looked, I was like, holy moly, man, we've been on this for a while. So. But yeah, just to kind of real quickly about the Ride the Wave. Ride the Wave now is available. So I was producing these myself. Okay, I was doing the publication of it myself and everything, and it was just the cost was getting higher and higher and higher, because obviously as the book was getting thicker and thicker and thicker, the weights, the amount of pages and everything, it increases the cost. So I looked into a couple different options, and I was able to find the Amazon print on demand and the Amazon Kindle version that I could produce and make available, but I could actually do it and make it available for a much lower price. The main reason was because of the shipping, because the way Amazon has it set up, especially for foreign countries, the way Amazon has it set up is that a person in India can actually order this book, and it will be printed in India, so it gets shipped locally to them. So instead of a person having to pay international shipping fees, it allows them to be able to get the hard copy in their hands in their own country at a much lower rate. But also by having the Kindle version, which is nothing but, it's the electronic version of this, by having that available, a person can get it anywhere on the planet and not have to worry about shipping fees at all. And again, I didn't make this thing, you know, $29.99, you know, or something like that. I mean, I think the Kindle version is like $4, $4 or $5. I tried to make it as reasonable as possible for the amount of work that had to go into this. And, you know, I think Ride the Wave has been a really valuable resource for people, because it's written in layman's terms. I write it in very basic, you know, terminology. It covers things that I know people are going to be faced with. And, you know, this was not to pat myself on the back and talk about things I have done. This isn't an autobiography, other than some of the experiences that I had gone through in working with the Magic, and then using those experiences to relay either this is what you should be doing, or this is what you shouldn't be doing because I screwed up. You know, like what you said with the book that I wrote, Market King. It basically was written to cover my screw-ups. That's really, it wasn't really meant to be a follow-up to Ride the Wave. It was more to really embody some of the things that I realized, like what you said about the 6A and the 6A2. You know, see, when I first started in this business, all anybody was saying is, you know, you need to go 6A, you need to go 6A, you need to go 6A. And the problem with that is it's a selfishly motivated goal. You know, if all I'm doing is thinking about going 6A, then what I'm actually doing is only concentrating on my own stuff. And to be perfectly honest, because that is the way I was taught to begin with, I screwed myself completely up. My organization is completely screwed. I have well over -3 volume, but because of where everything's placed, because I was just trying to go 6A, it's all in the wrong places. So I'm not a -3. Even though I have the volume for it, I'm a -2. And it's basically, because of how messed up my stuff is, it's almost like starting from scratch of what I actually have to do with the build. So what I learned is the 6A, the goal of going 6A is selfishly motivated. But ironically enough, the goal of actually going after a higher ranking is not selfishly motivated. So if you start in this business with a goal of going 6A2, Because the only way you can go 682 is if you have 2 of your people go 6A. So if you're thinking, my goal is 682, the only way you can achieve that is by helping 2 other people go 6A. If their goals are to go 6A2, the only way they can achieve that is by helping 2 other people go 6A. And if you actually look at the way that the structure gets built, that's how you move up to the -3s, 4s, 5s, and 6s, by creating that model. Well, I was not taught that. My sponsor might be really good at that, at marketing stuff, but I was not taught that. And so my organization suffered as a result. I don't want everybody else to suffer that same fate. I don't. You know, it's because it gets frustrating. It really does get frustrating. Knowing that you have the volume, you have more volume than somebody who's got that rank, and they're getting all that just because they structured it differently. And that's really what it boils down to. So it is important to, one, recognize, you know, a selfishly motivated goal compared to a non-selfishly motivated goal. Go after the selfish motivation, but also learn about placement, learn about the actual build itself, to maximize the sales that are happening in your organization. That's why some of the people that are skyrocketing right now into -3s and -4s, they maximize that organizational development. That's what they did, and that's why they were able to do it. See, if you weren't taught that, how do you know how to do that? You know, and that's really, that's definitely something that people need to make sure that they're paying attention to. Just do it the right way. You know, don't do it some of the, there's some things that unfortunately, you know, in any kind of business, you got to take the good with the bad. And unfortunately, yeah, there is some things that, you know, I call bad in the Enagic program, but they're far outweighed by the goods that it's easier to be able to, like, you know, say, well, okay, you know, you just sometimes avoid certain people or avoid certain situations is all you can really do. But yeah, so that's, you know, again, JJ, I really appreciate the opportunity to sit down and kind of explain this stuff too, because I think that's one of the other things. I don't think people really have a full grasp of the hows and whys of some of this stuff, you know, and that if they did, if they had a little bit better understanding of, you know, like I said, some of the psychology of sales that you need to apply to yourself. You know, this can be really tough, man. You know this, okay, so we're kind of like simpatico when it comes to the way we think and stuff, because I have a hard time working for somebody. You know, being told where I have to be, when I have to be there, when I'm allowed to eat, when I can go to the bathroom. I have a problem with that, okay? But being self-employed, it can be rough because you have to be self-motivated. You know, it's very tempting. My home office is downstairs in my house. Well, so is my family room. And when my door is open to my office, I can hear what's going on in my family room. I can hear people watching a TV show or laughing, and I have to separate myself to make sure I'm getting work done, and it can be tough. So it's like this can be a very difficult business in as much as you really have to be able to be self-reliant. And that's why it's important to challenge yourself, to push yourself, to do things that's going to make you do what needs to be done. If you're going to be complacent and lackadaisical in your approach, I'm only going to do what I need to do, your business is going to take forever to build, okay? But if you are like, okay, what can I do to really push myself? Where can I do, what can I, that's when you have the results. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I went 6A in 4.5 months. That's how, from the time I started till I went 6A, 4.5 months, okay? Because I focused. I did what, at that time, man, we didn't have these great water bags and all these things. We were buying 3-gallon water containers, retail, $15 to be able to sample one person. If I had 3 people lined up to sample, it cost me $45. $45 to sample 3 people, okay? That's what, but guess what? I did it. I spent that money. Why? Because I was investing in me. I knew that if I bought myself 10 containers at $15 a piece, if I hadn't made a sale yet, I just spent $150, you damn well better be sure that I was going to get those things out, that I was going to get those in people's hands. And then we progressively learned and it made our job easier. That's why a person who shows up today, congratulations. You're at the pinnacle of this business in 45 years. If you showed up today, you are here when it is at its absolute best for everything and every person involved. Now, if you show up tomorrow, the same will also be true, because tomorrow things will even get better. But I showed up 12 years ago. Things were very different then. So it's like people need to understand that challenging yourself, pushing yourself, those are ways that, I mean, it's just like going to the gym, you know? Yeah, I could just do 5 jumping jacks and feel like I did something. But if I do 50, I'm probably going to get better results much, much quicker. And people have to start thinking like that. You have to push yourself. If you want your business to thrive, you need to really push it. You need to push it. That's what you need to do. If you're okay with it taking 2 years for what it could take, you could have done in 2 months, fine. Then go about it however you want. But the bottom line is, if you really want your business to take off, to grow rapidly, to create that monster momentum that is going to carry you forward, then you might have to take yourself out of your own comfort zone and push a little bit harder and do some things that you might not normally do. Whether that means that you're up at midnight delivering water, or you're buying some brochures and some magazines to be able to give out to people that you don't even have prospects for yet. Okay, that's the way that then you'll move forward. Why? Because you feel like you have to, because you've already jumped. You already jumped in the pool. You jumped off the cliff, and now it's just a matter of, you know, you're going to hit the water. It's too late. You can't go back. So what do? You embrace it and run with it. That's what you do. You know, and that's really what this is all about. So I again, just to kind of sum everything up, now I only have the sale going until Sunday, so only for a couple more days. Depending, I know sometimes people can't get to things, so I might end up extending it out. But as of right now, the sale is only supposed to be going until Sunday. The code again is SALE, just the word sale, when you check out, and you'll get an extra 20% off. And don't forget the ones that are going away, they say last chance on the website itself, and that's going6a.com /shop. That's where the store is. Or you can just go to going6a.com, and in the menu, I think it says store. Click on that, take you right there.
Okay. Yeah, I want to give everybody one other little piece of info about riding the wave, or ride the wave. It's actually a fun read. Gerry does a great job of writing it. It's not some boring. Sometimes you get reading books like that, and they're just really difficult to read because the person writing them is just no fun. They don't do a good job writing, and it's really hard to read. It's hard to devour that kind of information. But I'll tell you guys, Gerry's book is written really good. He's a fun writer. He's got a great sense of humor, and he makes it fun to read. And like, you're going to love the section about goals. I think that part was really, really helpful for me to help me to figuring out what I want my goals to be and how to structure them right. There's really good stuff about the water. There's really great stuff about the compensation plan. And I'm not even through the whole thing. I can't wait to finish it up and continue to learn from it. It's probably one of those things I'm going to have to read a couple of times too, just to internalize it. And and that's kind of the way it is with all of the stuff that Gerry's put together, you guys. It's all worth every penny that you're going to pay for it. And remember another thing, it's all a tax write-off. You get to write it off as a business expense. And, so I highly recommend that you take advantage of being able to save some money on this stuff and get it in and have it at your disposal so that you can build this thing, because quite frankly, everybody that's here, they're part of the Kong family, and we all have this really simple goal. We just want to change the world. And we got to change the world by getting out there and getting Kong's water into people's houses, getting that hydrating water into people's lives and changing people's lives. And people think that it's kind of crazy when we say that, but the truth is we are changing the world. It is happening. And it's really neat to be part of it. It's really fulfilling to be part of it. And, having somebody like Gerry on our team that's so willing to help, and he uses these creative facilities that he has to be able to make stuff that we can use. It's really just phenomenal, buddy. And I really appreciate everything that you're doing. I want you to know that from the bottom of my heart. It's
I appreciate that.
really helped me a ton. And, you know, I'm going to continue to be helped by all of the things that you've already produced. And I look forward to being able to help you produce more better stuff, whatever. I mean, it's going to be pretty tough to top the things that you've already created. And, you know, but one of my big things is I want to get this stuff into restaurants, because I don't like going to restaurants and knowing that their food's tainted and that kind of stuff. And that's become one of my big things that I really want to work on. And that's something that you have been a tremendous help with. And I didn't even realize, you know, that's another thing that's in Ride the Wave, is the information about how we're the only ones who can be in restaurants.
Because the certifications.
Even be in a restaurant. They can't even do it. They don't even have the ability. And, you know, we've got that as a whole nother aspect of things. That this has been really helpful for me today, listening to you talk about how you go about utilizing these things, because I have all of this stuff with the exception of the Healthy Times newspaper, but I didn't really understand how I should be going about using it. And so this has been tremendously helpful for me once again. And, you know, Gerry, I just love you so much, and I appreciate everything you're doing for the family to help us be able to accomplish our dreams and our goals. And you know, it's just wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in. And I'm so glad that we were able to help, you know, in our little way to help promote your sale. And I hope that a bunch of people will pick up a bunch of stuff. I hope you guys are listening and understanding this. I hope you spread this video out. Once we get the recording will be available here in a couple of hours, and I'll get it up onto YouTube, and you guys can share this out to your teams. And, you know, hopefully we can get enough momentum going here that maybe Gerry will extend the sale till the middle of next week or something like that, and give our teams a chance to actually buy some of this stuff and get it at a discount. And hopefully we can have a huge end to 2019 and, you know, rock the world going into 2020. But remember something else, kids. Christmas is coming. This makes an incredible Christmas gift. This is a life-changing Christmas gift for people. And so this is really a big time to be focusing on this. And if you don't already have these things, get them, and get them out to your teams, get them out to your people, get them out to everywhere, everything you do, everywhere you go. Keep talking about Kong's water. You want to have it on the brain, baby. And, yeah, so Gerry, thank you so much, buddy. As usual, I learned a bunch, and I'm looking forward to putting it to use, putting it into action, and really rocking the rest of this year, and hopefully getting myself to 5A before the end of the year, and helping a couple of my people get up the ranks too. And, you know, just thank you. Thank you, buddy. Thanks so much.
It's my pleasure. You know, I appreciate the opportunity to sit down and talk with everybody, and I thank you for what you're doing. You know, because you're taking this very seriously. I don't think people understand that. You know, coming up with the amount of content that you've been coming up with to be able to share with people. You know, it's not as easy as people think it is. You know, there's a lot of work involved in this, and you know, even something like this, most people just think, if you see the video, it's just like two guys talking to each other, right? What they don't understand is this is like a sprint for an hour and a half. That it's a mental sprint. So this is exhausting. Normally, when I get done with one of these, I'm wiped out, man. I'm just like, because you have to be in your game. You have to be thinking. I'm not reading off a teleprompter. Everything that I'm saying, it's coming in the spur of the moment. And it can become very, very tiring. So I think people should recognize that and appreciate what you've been doing, because I know that you're doing this 5 days a week, man. And I know it's funny because it's your aspirations, instead of having it be that you only have to do it 3 days a week, you told me your aspirations are to do it 7 days a week. So it's like you're already taking it on this huge, like, responsibility. And instead of saying, hopefully I'll be able to bring it down a little bit, you're like, I hope I can expand on this and make it even more. So I appreciate what you're doing, and I think it's really important that people understand that, this is not simple, and that, what you're doing, just making this type of stuff available, whether it be me talking to somebody or anybody else in this project that has valuable information to share, you're doing a service for everybody that they should be very, very thankful for. And I know that I am. So I just want you to know that I really greatly appreciate the level of commitment that you have shown and continue to show on an almost daily basis for this entire project. And I think Enagic's lucky to have you part of it.
Thank you so much. And so one last time, kids, so everybody that's come on here towards the end, just in case they didn't get it, it's going6a.com, and you got a 20% discount. The code, when you go to checkout, look for the code area, put in SALE, sale. It's a sale, baby. Go get yourself a discount. Get the best tools on the planet and get them at a discount right there. It's going6a.com. Make it happen, kids. Get out there, change the world, starting with your own. And of course, as usual, do not forget your hugs, kids. You gotta have your hugs.
Big hugs. HooDeeHoooo.
Babies roll. They feel good. And once again, Gerry, thanks again, buddy. God bless you. And have a great weekend. And I look forward to the next time that we get together, have a little bit of fun, and share some more value to the Kong family on the Kong Family Show. Much love, buddy.
Thanks, JJ.
Thanks to everybody that's here. Get out there, change the world. And
have a great September, everybody.
Awesome. Yes. Thanks, Gerry. Appreciate it again.
You got it, buddy.
HooDeeHoooo.